welcome everyone. And if you are here and you're able to just put something in the chat, in the comments, just to reassure me that it is all working, that would be really great. Just put a hello in there if you are with us. It says there are people there, but it's always good to actually know that they are alive. Hi Ian, thank you very much for that. So for those who don't know me, my name is David Miles. I'm on a mission to help mortgage brokers and financial advisors to generate their own leads from their own websites so as they can stop relying on word of mouth and buying leads from third parties and so on. Now, one of the challenges I know has faced mortgage brokers a lot, particularly over the last year, is that their cases have been slowed down by delays in the whole conveyancing process. Now, as a digital marketing person, that's not something I can directly help with, but I was up to rise to a challenge. So I came across a man who can, who is Sean Rogers from the Mortgage Broker Club. So we're going to be talking to Sean in a lot more detail in a moment about what makes conveyancing so slow and crucially, what can be done to speed things up so as your mortgage cases complete faster, your clients are happier, and you get paid quicker, and everyone's a winner. So just before we move over to that and start talking to Sean, just a reminder that as we go through, I'd love you to put any questions, comments, feedback and stuff in the comments as the thing progresses this afternoon. There will be a replay of this available as well. So if you're watching on the replay, you can also put questions in, and Sean and I will keep an eye on that over the next couple of days. And if there are any new questions come up, we will jump in and answer those. Do as well stick around to the end. We're going to be here for about 30-45 minutes, depending on the number of questions that we get asked, but stick around to the end because we do have a couple of special offers for people who are here today, which we'll tell you about after I finish chatting with Sean. So without further ado, let's move over. I think you are off mute, Sean. That's good. So Sean, hello and welcome.
Hi David, hello everyone, good afternoon.
Do you want to just start off, Sean, because you probably introduce yourself far better than I can. Just tell us a little bit about who you are, where you come from, why you're here, what MBC is, that kind of thing.
So yeah, Sean Rogers, I suppose, without telling you my whole life story, as if it's this is your life. Probably a failed footballer that then somehow stumbled into the law. So my background is one through legal services. And skipping ahead, I ended up having to work quite closely with legal tech and then subsequently fintech. I was involved in a business which we founded, which works with litigation funders in essence. And one of the biggest problems litigation funders had is looking to connect with leading commercial firms and high value cases and wanting to be able to monitor criteria, track case progress, track where their money is, track when their capital and interest is going to come back. And alongside that, I'd also worked in a number of different departments where you have the challenge of trying to meet a 5-star customer service whilst turning work around quite quickly, and then trying to use the best of digital software and technology and mix and match in that, if you like, with good quality, ideally quality solicitors with a good bedside manner. You get a lot of quality solicitors who don't always have the great bedside manner, and it's no good having a solicitor with a great bedside manner that's no good at actually doing the legal piece. So I don't actually come from a traditional conveyancing background, and obviously I don't come from the mortgage industry per se. A number of people who have been IFAs for a long time were speaking to me about possibly doing something in this space, and that then got accelerated further when we were approached by a couple of parties to, in essence, do a consultation paper, because they were looking at doing something in this space, and with technology and legals was one part of that. And that's why we were already building something with an eye on a conveyancing solicitors firm. So it made sense to do some market research. And skipping ahead, in essence, we just thought there was a great opportunity to add more value to clients, to brokers, and to solicitors. So we formed the Mortgage Broker Club, initially with the idea of being a conveyancing panel. We were going to call it a different name. And then we buddied up with a couple of other people in the industry, one of which being Mike O'Brien, a colleague of mine, who wanted to try and create a one-stop shop for mortgage brokers. So if you need support with criteria, as an example, or it's something actually to do with packaging or sourcing or network, everything under one roof that you can sort of review, a beauty parade, for want of a better phrase, and find key features out. And then also other things that might not be thought about, like finding your accountants, professional indemnity insurance. Obviously, David, lead gen with someone like yourself, websites, all the other things that come with it. So whether you're a new broker starting up, you could potentially come to the Mortgage Broker Club for free, review a ton of stuff there. Or if you're an experienced broker and you're looking to cross-reference your existing partners or see what's out there, we wanted to create a vehicle across our social media channels and also across the website, where people would be able to, in essence, keep on top of the opportunities to partner with various people, and also how to problem solve.
Okay, so sorry. So if I've understood correctly, what we're saying is Mortgage Broker Club, it's primarily, or founded initially around issues with conveyancing, but has kind of expanded to provide a range of different services to mortgage brokers, really, or support services.
Spot on. So yeah, we do a couple of things. So yes, the conveyancing and the conveyancing portal, if you like, is probably the jewel in our crown. But we have a big section called Broker Tools, where there's over 25 categories in there which are free to access. So you can go in there and look at over 50 commercial partners, going from Iris to Smarter to Brilliant to Knowledge Bank to yourself, David. It's pretty much a who's who in the industry. We release a lot of podcasts, YouTube videos, little video clips as well. So sometimes that's Q&A with a mortgage broker like Graham Wilson, as an example, who owns Tracker Hub, but is a very successful mortgage broker and is tremendous from a knowledge point of view. We've had Nicola Firth come on from Knowledge Bank, which was fab. And then we have other people coming on, like yourself, David. Your show was great. Your show is the best, of course. And we have a lot of people coming on giving free value away to mortgage brokers. And then we have some unique services for brokers, which we're really proud of. So we have a full gallery, if you like, of wills services. So if you're a broker who wants to draft wills, we have a pay-as-you-go will software service for you. If you're someone who doesn't want to draft wills, you can refer them on to solicitors. And you also have the option, if you want, to give your clients a free will via a service that is used by lawyers and insurers across the country. So your clients would be in good company if they were to use that. We've got reputation enhancement things to do with Google reviews. We've got customer rewards in there. We've got a lot of different memberships that can add a bit more value to brokers, which are unique, which save them time. And particularly, I think the reputation enhancement piece, that in essence, the reputation enhancement piece provides brokers with their review system, where if someone rates you 4 or higher, it'll divert the client to Google, and if it's 3 or less, it'll divert them back to you, so you can get the feedback but keep the client away from Google, in essence. But you'll also get a non-religious Christmas card go out to the clients from you. You'll get a 12-month thank you card go out to the clients from you automatically. So things that brokers can do, that quite a few brokers do, but it just takes it off your desk.
Well, I guess a lot of those things as well. There are things that if you're part of a big brokerage, you're going to have people employed to do a lot of those things, like sending Christmas cards and that. But with the best will in the world, if you're a small brokerage or you're a one-man band, there's a limit to how much of that stuff actually gets done, isn't there? I'd like to come back to the reputation management thing actually a bit as well, because we some of the people watching today will be members of the Predictable Pipeline program, and they'll know we did a coaching call in there a couple of weeks ago all around the importance of online reviews and reputation management and stuff. And we did look in there at some of the big names in terms of tools for gathering reviews, Google reviews, FIFO, Trustpilot, etc. And the issue with a lot of those, Google aside, is they are expensive. Now, I know you were telling me a bit about this the other day. I think, didn't you say your solution is at a much lower cost end than things like Trustpilot, isn't it?
Yeah, so our solutions start at £19.99 a month, and you can put your last quarter's worth of clients through the system. So hypothetically, you might have 15, 10, 20, I don't know, clients, especially the ones who have had that have had a really good rapport with you or are likely to give you a positive review. And, alongside that, you get the non-religious Christmas card, the 12-month thank you card. And the way that works is that you basically can bob in and bob out as and when you please, in essence. Hypothetically, if it's your network or if it's your CRM system, there's no issues with us potentially being able to integrate with that as well. So any introductions there, please feel free. The reality of what we do for you is that by logging into the platform, you basically put your client's details in securely, and in essence what's happening is you basically have a mobile phone number, for want of a better phrase, that's completely dedicated to you, but it's a mobile phone customer service number which is only yours, and anyone who replies to that, in essence, it turns that text into an email, in essence.
Okay, so basically you can send out a request for reviews, and then people can text them back in, and that gets converted into an email. And then the good reviews, you can say, oh, can you go and put that on Google? Is that the idea?
Yeah, so it's automated basically. Right. So it'll be, when you sign up, you'll see the exact message that goes out, but it would be something along the lines of, hi, insert first name.
Yeah.
I take feedback very seriously from my clients. It's really important to us to know how we can keep improving the business and what your journey was like as a client. This is how we do our customer feedback results. Can you please give me a rating from 0 to 5, say, and any other feedback? And anyone who puts a 4, 5, or we've the highest I've seen an 11, and I've seen 100, which I suspect is a typo based on 10. But that's only when we go into dashboard. Like, we don't get access to any of this. It's yours. Now, if they respond, say, with a 4, 5 or higher, their response will be your unique Google review page. So they just literally bob the 5-star in there and you're away. That's it. Alternatively, if it's a 3, it'll send an automated reply, thank you for your feedback. Let us analyze this internally, blah, 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 blah. And that goes into your email inbox, in essence, so that you've got that feedback as well. So we released, it's completely free. There's no email registration. If you haven't got it already, check it out. We've released a Google My Business 40-page ebook. And I would strongly recommend anyone who hasn't got it takes a look at that. There's examples in there, based in the Merseyside region where I'm based, where you can search mortgage broker online, and you can see exactly what comes up in the region and what a client would look at from a Google reviews point of view. But also, as you probably referenced in your other shows, David, it's not just that. If someone gets word of mouth and Googles your business, specifically yours, rather than the term mortgage broker, obviously you want high ratings and you want as big a volume as you possibly can, because the vast majority of mortgage brokers, from certainly in the areas of the country we've been investigating, either aren't registering their Google My Business listing at all, and if they are, there's not enough volume of reviews being pumped there to make a mark. So when I Googled it in Merseyside, we have Manchester brokers appearing in the local 3-pack.
Because there's nothing closer.
Now, to put that in context for people who don't know the area, I live 42 miles from Manchester.
Yeah, and it's not like it's a sparsely populated part of the country either. So, and for anyone watching who's seeing what's Google My Business, it's what Google, I think originally they called it Google Places, but basically it's the thing where when you search on Google for something localized, you get the map results come up, and the businesses that appear on there, they only are eligible to appear on there if they've created a free listing on Google My Business. And as Sean's saying, once you've got Google My Business set up, that's where you can then gather Google reviews. And I mean, that kind of anything that automates that process of gathering reviews is really, really useful, because often, this is one of the things that came up on this coaching call I talked about from a couple of weeks ago, often people will start getting reviews from all their new clients that they have from here on, but they forget about the fact that you can go back and ask for reviews from past ones. And, and one of the guys who was on that call, he got something like an extra 50 reviews overnight just from taking that bit of advice, and going and asking past clients. So anything that makes that process easier is well worth doing, because, but
I think just to finish on that, David, I was just going to jump in, if that's okay. I think the biggest thing for brokers, which I find exciting for them, is that if you set up your Google My Business listing correctly, you will appear, even if someone doesn't search for your region, if you just search mortgage broker, you will appear higher than any national brand. So you could have a national brand spending $1 million a year, 2 million, 10 million a year on SEO. It really doesn't matter. Google is going to put the local 3-pack above them.
Yeah.
And literally all you have to do is have a Google My Business listing and keep putting the reviews and the ratings in there.
Yeah. No, well, we'll definitely get that Google My Business guide that you talked about promoted in the group. But I'm conscious we've talked a lot about all the extra things that NBC does. We haven't talked about the core thing and the thing that we sort of said this is all about, which is conveyancing. So we did put a teaser question out there, actually, didn't we, in the promotion for this interview. We said why do searches take so long and who's to blame? So I think we should at the very least answer that question. So we've delivered on the on the one specific thing that we said. So sure, why do searches take so long and who's to blame for that?
How long have you got? Okay. Obviously one of the key factors in searches taking so long to turn around are local authorities, obviously due to the pandemic and the increase in transactions going through. Of course, that's going to put pressure on local authorities, but everybody knows that and everyone's got to put up with that. Something that surprised me a few years ago now, probably 3-4 years ago when we were doing our market research into this area, is we've spoken to probably, I would say, 150 of the leading law firms nationwide. And the first question that comes out of every single one of their mouth to us or in any meeting is, do you tie us in on search packs? And going back years, being naive, no. Should we? What's the issue? And that's when you start. And this is the start of this experience of a journey. So one of the things that brokers may or may not know is that law firms will basically sign up for a search pack. Now, they might do online searches, they might use a third-party search company. And those search packs, as you no doubt you've seen in your quotes that you get, could range from £132 plus VAT all the way up to juicy figures like £300 plus. Now, without naming names, there are certain people that have panels that will say to firms, you are not coming on this panel unless you are tied into our insurance policy, our sign-up system, our search packs. Now, one of the problems with tying people into search packs, because in essence, they want the commission out of the search pack. So let's say David had a search pack. I would say, David, I'm going to make every single law firm with me tied into your search pack. What do you give me in return? And David will go 50 quid, 10 quid, 100 quid, whatever. I'll go, great. Let me drive the usage. Client broker, none the wiser. This is between us. I'll invoice you at the end of each month, etc. First problem, in my opinion, some of the majority of the best firms in the country just will not do business with you immediately. For them, it's an absolute no. So the first problem you've got is if you want searches and cases to turn around fast, you want to be working with the best. Anyone who ties in on search packs, well, straight away, you don't have that choice. The second problem you have, especially when you have this bizarre set of circumstances that we've all seen over the past year, is that if we're doing huge usage and we are going to funnel all of that into a handful of third parties, there is no way that all the law firms would have necessarily chosen those third parties if it was down to free choice, because they will have their own experiences, they will have their own set of circumstances and their own way of doing business, which actually suits different search providers. And I know this from different areas of the law that I won't bore you with, but basically tie-ins, sometimes tie-ins can be a good thing because you're actually providing them with a better partner. But that generally isn't the way that this works. So whether you're using law firms directly or whether you're using some form of panel, the law firm's choice of search pack is absolutely critical, because if you funnel them all in the wrong place, you've basically got a sink full of water and all you're doing is turning the tap on and you're at the back of the queue. And that is a huge problem. So something we try and do.
The search firm, because they've got that kind of monopoly, they become the bottleneck in the whole process. So.
Yeah, and hypothetically, let's play numbers. If you're going to throw 2,000 cases a month into a pipeline, if the circumstances make 2 become 4, well, no one can be geared up for that, especially not a third party. And therefore, you've got a problem because you're reactionary at that point, because you know that 4 is probably going to go down when the market slows. So what do? And that's a third party search pack that probably is, maybe, depending on the terms of the commission deal, could be working on a margin that's quite tight because they've got to run their own business, make a profit, and pay money out the door. So my view is if you're working with a really good firm, and I don't care whether it's a panel or not, it's like having a really good football player. I don't want to sign a really good footballer and start changing their game. I've signed you I might tweak it, I might want to improve, but generally you're great at what you do. So if I'm working with a great law firm, I don't want to interfere with what they do. No one should want to interfere with what they do. If we can add value and we're asked, no problem. But you want them to do what they do best, ideally. And that's one of the key things, I think. And that's something that, we try and help law firms on, in that sometimes they might have had a bad experience with a search pack provider, say years ago, like anyone, but it could be that business is completely different right now. And if we've had good feedback about them and we're asked the question, we can always introduce people, but we don't get involved. And the other thing on search packs that causes the biggest delay is the twofold. One, how does your law firm go about getting the client's ID? So most law firms will say that they do a digital sign-up, but I think it's very important that you split that into categories. So you've got digital sign-up in terms of just signing the terms of business, which could be EchoSign, DocuSign, like pretty much everyone would do that. But then you've got the ID collection and verification phase, because most firms will not commence any form of search pack and can't really until all of that information had come back into them. Now, there are some firms that do that basically with a feather and an inkwell and a carrier pigeon. So that adds a lot of time to the entire process and obviously delays the return of your searches because you're delaying the start of even requesting them in the first place.
Presumably, the whole one of the upsides of COVID, presumably, is that's forced a lot of those firms to have to, bring in processes that don't rely so much on face-to-face and post and stuff, or
yes and so yes and no. So I would say going back to probably 2019, if you want to use the phrase legal ready, which is and legal ready means different things to different people. So my definition or our definition of legal ready is that you can do not only a digital sign up, but I can, as a firm, I can collect the client's ID, all the anti-money laundering stuff digitally and get it verified digitally, so that hypothetically we could be live in 10 minutes running your case now, assuming of course that you get some level of client engagement with that process, of course, because you could do anything you want, of course, but it's a two-way street. The client's got to respond. So the key thing is obviously getting that process started early. And some of the firms we work with, and there's a partner of ours, a technology provider of ours, which are absolutely incredible. Now this is more for lawyers than it is for brokers, but I think in March next year, we will get sign off from the land registry that a mortgage deed can be signed via the app. And there is potentially going to be a professional indemnity insurance discount for people who use it. And we may well come back to you, David, for your Facebook group, because we're probably going to do some market research soon, in that we have the ability to release that app to mortgage brokers.
Right.
But obviously we wouldn't want to do that unless we felt that there was a demand. So it would basically enable brokers not only to do the sign-up process and integrate with CRMs pretty much seamlessly, but you'd basically be sending push notifications to someone's mobile phone. So anytime you want to either update them with something, or more importantly, anytime you need information from them, it would literally be instant through the entirety of the case. There would be no documents that they wouldn't be able to sign instantly with broker or lawyer via the app. And one of the key things with it, of course, is everyone talks about email, but Hotmail, Gmail, the spam folders that you have there, people aren't checking their emails as often as maybe you'd think, because we're all professional people, so we do, but a lot of clients don't.
Yeah, when you run your own business, particularly if you work in digital marketing like I do, it's very easy to assume that everyone is checking their email all the time, and you often lose sight of the fact, I think, that the average person in the street perhaps isn't constantly on their email, but you say a text message coming through or something like that, or a push notification in an app.
Yeah, so you basically got Yeah, you've in essence very quickly you've got 4 types of firm. You've got firm 1 who just do everything with post and stamp to just envelope, nightmare. You've then got firm 2 that do say a sign up in terms of getting their paperwork signed digitally. So you think they're a digital firm, but they're asking for the client to verify the ID in a different way, or they might say email it in, but they haven't got an instant ID verification service. So that's no good to anyone. And then you've got a third category of firm that do separate the process. And that's probably where a lot of firms, when you were saying a lot of firms have moved, I think this is where they've moved to, in that they do the sign up digitally and then they ask you to send the information in via email, and then they do the verification online. So then you're relying on the internal data entry team, for want of a better phrase, and what their turnarounds are. And then you've got our partners who work with us, where the firm would literally come to you now, David, and it would be done in a split second, but that includes the actual independent HMRC DVLA verification level, like to the extent where there's a red laser going down the passport as you hold your passport up to your phone. So I think if I was a broker, then I would be, whether it's a panel or not, I would be looking for reverse engineering this. I would be looking for a firm that's not tied into a search pack, that uses worst case scenario, let's say stage 3. So they're getting everything digitally and they're onboarding it online. Or ideally, they're using this kind of technology, which is absolutely instant, basically.
And if someone does their conveyancing events through MBC, are all of your brokers, are all of your law firms in that category, or does it vary? But you can identify which ones are fully digitized, or what?
Yeah. So if you run a quote through the system, there'll be a legal ready tick, or there won't even be a mention of them being legal ready. One of the firms that we work with has literally just onboarded with stage 4. So they've actually onboarded with our partners, and they've jumped from sort of stage A to D in that situation. So they've gone from being completely paper based, and they're a really good firm and they're priced really competitively. But obviously brokers aren't going to choose them, and I've said this to them, that it's a shame. You've got a really good firm with some great people in it, and because of the area they're in the country, from a nationwide point of view, they could grow to whatever size they want because they've had to quote for the area they're in. But if I'm a broker in another area of the country, I'd be all over them. For that reason. But I think that if I was a broker, I wouldn't have used them because they wouldn't fulfill the legal ready status, and they're now going to be going into an area where they've probably got better tech than 20 million turnover operations that are out there. So the key thing I would do is, one, advise my clients, we need searches are a problem and the delay. The minute you get from the law firm the sign up, the ID verification, that has got to be turned around rapid. That is priority 1. And then, as I say, making sure that ideally the firm is legal ready. Find out yourself what their kind of verification is the most important bit. What is your time frame for turning around verification? Because collection's one thing, until it's verified, they can't start searches anyway.
So I mean, that all sounds great, and obviously, clearly, if a broker were going to go through MBC, they can find the law firms who are going to do all that stuff the right way. From the consumer point of view, the thing I've noticed is that for God knows how many years, every remortgage or even mortgage that I've done, there's been an offer of free legals from the lender has sorted out. So from the point of view of, if I'm a broker sitting there thinking, right, I want to use an MBC solicitor because I know it'll be nice and quick, the case will complete faster, I'll get paid faster, all that kind of thing, but that's going to cost my client X £100. Meanwhile, the lender is offering free legals. How do you square that in terms of convincing the client to use the paid for legals from MBC, and also how do you square that in terms of best advice? Because if you've got the free option and the paid for option, you've got to have a good justification, surely, for saying to the client to not take that deal and to pay for their legals instead.
Yeah, I mean, the issue you've got with free legals, and again, sort of reverse engineering this, is put yourself in the shoes of a law firm. So why would you tender, if you like? So why would you go for the contract from, I don't know, hypothetically, let's say nationwide as an example, and say, I want all your free legal work. Well, it's a huge contract to get. Problem, you are in essence going to have to create a factory. And until you see much more digital advancements, especially in the legal sector, which is way behind anyway. So until you see AI and other things really take over in that environment, you are in essence building a pretty tricky pipeline, probably for very vanilla type remortgage work, but one that is still not very digital. So, you know, not always, but a lot of people who want free legals are in the sort of stamped addressed envelope territory of sign up, having to go and get their ID sworn with another firm of solicitors. Obviously the lender is controlling where that goes, not broker and or client for want of anyway. And you in essence putting them into a factory type scenario where lenders in the past, I think in 2019 nationwide, had to extend their offer term from 90 days to 180 days because of the delays in their own free legals. So right. A client going through a remortgage either wants to benefit from the rate, so they've got a deadline they need to meet, delays aren't going to help, or they want to renovate the house, or they want to do debt consolidation, or whatever it might be that they're doing it for. They're not going to want to extend that. And obviously for brokers, profitability is obviously vital, but cash flow is king in any walk of business or life. So it's interesting that a lot of I think today nationwide are at £500 cash back as an offer. Mm-hmm. Now, we will have deals in place and do have deals in place that we go live very soon, where you'll probably be able to get a completely fixed fee remortgage package between £200 and £250. So if I'm a broker, I'd be saying you could go for the free legals, but this is what that looks like. I've got experience of free legals. Now, if you've had a great experience of free legals and they're going through in the same time frame, no problem. You'd be fully transparent with the client in that situation. If it was me, I'd be saying I'd take the 250, 300, 350, 400, 500 cash back for two reasons. One, because we can then place you with a remortgage solicitor that I can literally cherry pick for you now. So however you want to do that, but if you were using our system, you'd be able to log in, get an instant quote, fixed fee, no hidden charges, but you also see on our system their Google review score,
right?
Trustpilot, and you also get a link to the actual online reviews on Google or Trustpilot. So whether it's a firm you've always liked or whether it's one you've never heard of before, you could literally just click. And just this weekend, we've had no broker complaints about this particular firm. Everything seems swimming. But when we did a review at the weekend, there's just, of one particular firm, there are just some online reviews that have made us nervous. That it suggests to us that there's a capacity issue. Now, we've not had that declared to us. We've not had that feedback from anywhere else. So we've suspended them for now because we want to protect the brokers. Because if I was a broker logging on that system and I did check the reviews, it's just tipping, it's knocked down by about 0.2 on Google. There's a few actually written reviews which just smell of a capacity issue. And therefore we haven't had any complaints whatsoever. So that's why I think that's really attractive, because with the best will in the world, you could have the best law firm around. But like I said, if you've got a full sink of water and you're continuing to turn that tap on, then you are going to face challenges. So if it was me on free legals, I would say take the cash back. You in essence get free legals there because we're getting a better law firm. And also it's the client journey. Would you rather have an instant text message now and get all your ID out the way and not have any bits of paper and speed this process up and have £200 or £100 or even £300 potentially to play with, or just take the free legal? Now, to me, that's a no-brainer, but I'm biased, of course. Now, also for a broker, I don't know, you might be a broker who does wills. You might be a broker who can use that towards protection. You might, as a broker, be able to use that for additional selling. Or it might just be that the client can go and have enjoy that cash back for whatever they want to do.
Yeah, I guess it's a case of educating the client a bit, really, isn't it? But it's free because, and there will be a catch somewhere down the line. And I suppose the other thing as well is, I remember the last remortgage I did, the legals, funnily enough, for what was slowing it down, and they were free legals. And it looked like we were going to miss the deadline for when the current fixed rate expired. And I remember working out, every day this drags on, it's going to cost me, I don't know what it was, say 50 quid a day for every day this runs over. And when the law firm said, oh, it's going to be another week, I said, well, okay, it might need to be another week, that's 350 quid down the toilet for me.
100%. I mean, we've got some brokers. So I'll give you an example. We've got some brokers who work with us who, have got no desire to do wills, and that's fine. So some of them sign up to our free will service because that's that they can say to the client, well, as a thank you, you've got this option of doing this. Other brokers do want to draft wills, but to different degrees, they're a bit nervous about some. Depends how experienced they are, and that's why, in essence, they're not drafting the will. Our software does it, and our software is not hidden necessarily. So there's full transparency on that. The broker, in essence, is doing a telephone call. The broker is, in essence, interviewing you on a Zoom, David, and just asking questions, and our software on behalf of the broker is generating it for that client. So that's where if you take the £500 cash back or 400, whatever, £300 cash back, you'd actually be able to assist the client genuinely in a fantastic, genuine service there, and add tons of value. Another feature of what we do, which may be of interest, is that anytime your client signs up with a law firm with us, the broker, not the client, let's be very clear on this, the broker gets an email that will basically say your client and you are entitled to Online Discount Club for free for life. So some brokers just... What's
Online Discount Club?
So Online Discount Club is behind the paywall, but in this situation, it's completely free for life. So when you log into Online Discount Club, you get unique discount codes, and some not unique, but high value discount codes with likes of Boohoo, Hotels.com, you name it. So there's normally about 50 of them available, but high net worth, very VIP type discount codes. And then on the other side of Online Discount Club, there's 5,000 sale items, a bit like an e-commerce store, with Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, Currys, B&Q. You could anything from kids stuff to go.
So the end client can get discounts on all sort of high street household names and things.
So we've got
using that conveyancing service.
Yeah, we've got some brokers who find no problem, just that those emails, they're not interested in them and they don't do anything with them. We've got other brokers. I'll give you an example. So we had a broker whose clients had just bought a house and then used Online Discount Club and saved £150 on a dishwasher.
Right. Yeah.
So, and the thing is, for word of mouth, some of our brokers use it because if they use Online Discount Club 6 months later, in the back of their mind, they know they got it from that. Even though it's nothing to do with the broker, in essence, it's no different to Eon giving away Alexa or Vitality giving away an Apple Watch as a thank you for doing business with them. So again, that's just a nice perk or option for brokers, which they can take or leave.
Yeah, got you. That makes sense. And in terms of, because I know there will be some brokers who think, well, I've got direct relationships with solicitors and they're paying me a commission on each case and stuff. How is there a commission or a kickback or something for the broker from placing business to NBC, or is the reward for the broker purely that their client will get a better experience and the case will complete faster?
No, so sometimes your biggest strength is your biggest weakness, isn't it? And our biggest strength is how flexible we are and how we can customize pretty much anything for everyone. But obviously your biggest negative is that then means you've got a beauty parade of options for any broker. So if you're a broker that likes to log into a panel, as an example, you can log in with us. Very simple system to use. That's probably one of the main compliments we get, is its simplicity and speed, to be honest. You generate a quote and then you have a list of firms will be there in terms of the Legalready status, the Google review or Trustpilot score, a link to access the actual ratings themselves, and then you'll see the gross price. And then you have the option to add a referral fee. So you will be able to add a referral fee of your choice. And then when you save that, basically your referral fee will be added in to the legal costs, if you like. So the law firms will provide us with their net fee, if you like, and then you put that in, and then you've got the opportunity to download that quote in PDF format and send it off to your client. You can put your logo on it and all sorts if that's what you want to do. And then obviously you track case progress, and if it completes successfully, we would then pay you that referral fee. So this isn't something we can necessarily, this part of it, faster payments that we do, touch wood, hopefully we'll always be able to do that. If something completes on the Friday or during the week, up to now we've paid within 24 hours of the case completing. So to put that in context, we are advancing quite large amounts of cash to brokers, because on average we don't get paid by the lawyers between 10 and 21 days after completion of the case. So you know, I'd rather under promise and over deliver in our terms. That's not what we guarantee, but I think that's another reason that a lot of the brokers that use us are coming back for more, not just because of all the other benefits really. Compared to our rivals, we pay a lot faster. And I think for any brokers listening who don't use a panel or don't want to do that, it might be that we could help you in a different way. Because if you introduced us to the law firm, it doesn't necessarily need to be to do with you. We could actually speak to the law firm and help you, because by us putting our software into the lawyer would in essence pay us, but you then get all the benefits of almost an exclusive portal with that particular firm. So you get your instant quotes, case tracking, you get the chance to add your referral fee to that particular
keep the relationship
firm.
you've already got, but basically put all the nice digital system and everything around that existing relationship.
Yeah, and the other thing that we've done for, I mean, we've white labeled for a network, which we're delighted about. We're really, you know, pretty much everyone who's anyone went for that contract with that network. So we're really proud that they chose to work with us. Yeah. And we're really proud of the attitude that they took, because everyone else had promised them more money, the network and me, in order to partner with them. And we're really delighted with that particular network, because genuinely their attitude was no, like the extent to which they're not bothered about money on it is fantastic for brokers and clients alike. They literally want brokers and clients to get the best service and the quickest service, and chose us. But for brokers listening, we white label for DAs where they, as a broker, you might want the system in your own name. And that's really attractive, because you get a say in what law firms you want in that white label system. So you might have a law firm down the road that you want to use. You could still have access to ours, but not use them, because you never know when you might need them. But you might have estate agents, you might have other people in the area or in your contact book that would use your system, and therefore you would earn extra revenue, if you like, via that model. And then, or what you then gain, which is really good, is you gain your own leverage as well. So yeah, we can pretty much, we can provide even code snippets, so that as a broker on your own website, you can generate clients instant quotes, and it'll have an automated referral fee built in for you, the broker. So if you're a broker that does have good levels of visitors, or say, David, you're doing your pay-per-click campaigns as an example, you could literally have an instant quote form powered by us, completely on our liability, but in essence customized for you with your own referral fee, custom built in, fully automated.
Okay. And in terms of, I know you mentioned there was the membership fee, people want to have like the review gathering and stuff. If someone just wants to be using you for access to the conveyancing panel, do they have to pay any membership fee as part of that? Or
no, I'm sure our software team are going to try and change things on me one day, but we are very happy to say that at the moment people can white label with us for free, and people can get the code snippet with us for free, and people can just brokers can just register straight into the portal on the Mortgage Broker Club. By all means, I would encourage you to run a test quote. There's loads of how-to videos in there to show you how to do it and stuff like that. We've got 24/7 support, and the feedback we've got is really good. I think the key thing with the firms that we use in there, I think some people might be surprised by the firms, but that's because we don't tie firms in, so therefore we have firms that others don't. And some people might be surprised at some of the firms that are missing, and you know, I won't be able to specifically say why a particular firm isn't in there, but what I can say is that, how can I put it? The firms that we're working with, we monitor their turnaround times. We are very honest. In our SLA, if a firm lies to us about their capacity, they are sacked from the panel. And I don't mean suspended. They will never, I don't care who they are, they will never come back. So firms have to be very honest with us about their capacity levels, because as I say, you could have the best firm ever, but the problem is that in other areas of this industry, firms are in essence being forced to take work when they are full. And there needs to be an honesty conversation here. So look, if you come via our platform, are there going to be times when you're frustrated with a case, or the lawyers don't perform, or whatever? 1,000,000%. Of course there is. We're not. There's no magic wand, and it is conveyancing at the end of the day, which is never going to be that joyous a process. What we do is we chase the firms every 2 weeks. We have a very strict SLA. we're not precious about having to suspend or take sanctions against anyone. And the SLA that we sign with the firms is in our terms and conditions that you opt into. So there's an agreed SLA between all of us. So if someone's making a complaint of a firm, we can take all emotion out of it, whether within the SLA or not, even down to how quickly they respond to client phone calls.
Yeah. That sounds really good. I'm conscious of the time and the fact we haven't allowed any time for questions. So if you've got any questions, put them in. We do have one question from Mark, which I think this is a footballist kind of question, which isn't my thing at all. But he's put blue or red, which I assume is some reference to your accent and that there's more than one football team in your area or something.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to lose people watching the stream here, but yeah, Liverpool. So I'm a big Liverpool fan, and I am fortunate enough for the last decade to have done podcasts with the Anfield Rap, which is a fans group that's basically turned into, I suppose, a fan media group essence, and been very successful. So I enjoy doing that. So yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan for me since.
Well, that's either a good answer or a bad answer, I guess, for Mark, depending on his view.
That's one of the easier questions for me to answer. So thank you, Mark.
So I did say there were going to be a couple of offers that we would talk about at the end. So I was going to tell everyone what those are. First is anyone who is a member of this Facebook group. Sean has very kindly offered that he is happy to do a free call with you to I would discuss Mortgage Broking Club itself, or just answer any general questions you've got about the conveyancing process, how to improve it, all that kind of thing. So there is a link that you can use to book in a call with him, and I'll put that in the comments or elsewhere in the group after the call is over. The other thing is, if you are a member of the Predictable Pipeline program, then we've negotiated with Sean that members of that program can get 15% discount on the membership services. All that membership service that has all the reputation management, the review gathering and stuff. A discount on that service, 15%, free will package, customer rewards, all sorts of things. But I will post details of that in the Predictable Pipeline community, so those who are eligible for that can read all the details of it in there. Mark says fair in answer to your question about that. So I suspect that, I don't know which way would, I think that's a diplomatic reply, I think.
One other thing, David, just to say as well on that, on speeding cases up, is I know something that's a frustration for some firms is a delay in the survey, because obviously various surveyors have had different waiting lists. So I would say that a differential, for want of a better phrase, that brokers could do is, obviously brokers are very good at getting the clients' ducks in a row, especially to get the agreement in principle and everything else. But I think if law firms were on this call, certainly the better ones would be saying get them surveys in, because there's nothing more frustrating than someone whose waiting list has gone from 4 weeks to 7 weeks. And if that's a busy surveyor that will be used a lot in whether that area or by whomever, that's something that the sooner the better on that.
Yeah, so I think the tips I would be taking away from this, from listening to what you've said, are be very wary about free legals. They're free for a reason. Look at joining MBC, obviously, and also I think the one as well that's important is make sure that the client is primed to know what to expect, because they can be the thing that slows it down as well. So I think it's that, and as you say, the surveyors, I think it's just doing those 4 things, or even only doing half of those 4 things, is going to make a difference by the sound of it.
Yeah, 100%. We've got some people who want to come in and are interested in just keeping an eye on the firms in there, and they really like the fact that the Google and Trustpilot reviews are there. So if a firm's behaviour changes, because remember, you might see the brand of the firm, but you don't know whether the head of property is walked or whatever it might be. And those are the kind of things that we try and have honesty conversations with, so we can be forewarned in essence. Alternatively, you might have a really good link with a local firm or a particular firm that you love working with, but it might be that you think they could be better digitally, or it might be you miss some of the benefits of a panel in terms of being able to get the sort of digital interaction that you get. And that's why I think we're a bit different in that, by all means, introduce us to the firm, and we'll have a conversation with them about what we can do, because it's in their best interest as well, because they're running a risk that at some point you walk away. Because let me give you a quick example. So we've got someone who is a broker who does significant numbers, and it doesn't bother me whether you do one. I don't care if you do one a quarter or you do a that. We're not bothered. at some point we will close the door, because we want to do quality. And there's a certain tipping point where you need enough leverage with the law firms to an extent, but at the same point in time, we will cap it at some point and have a waiting list. But this broker said to us, under no circumstances will I ever not use my lawyer. So I'm happy on this white label to add them in, but I will never, ever use anyone else's. And then 6 minutes it was after logging in, they emailed us asking for our personal opinion about a firm, which we can't give because they'd logged in. This law firm basically said to him that anyone cheaper than us is obviously doing a rubbish job. But of course, in our system, that his preferred firm's Google reviews were in there.
Right.
Because it's a bespoke system for this broker. So it's not on our wider panel. Only him and his brokers can see this. And their Google review was like 3.8. But because he has a good experience with them, he's never looked at it. So he's then seen cheaper law firms with 4.6 Google reviews in our system.
You still there, Sean? I lost you. I don't know if that broke up for.
Oh, sorry, apologies.
For everyone.
So in essence, the broker had said he'd never leave because he had his relationship with his own firm. Goes in and sees, actually, to the naked eye, this firm doesn't look that good anymore. And they're all right, to be fair. But then he's seen digital ready firms with like 4.6 Google reviews cheaper. Yeah. And started using those firms.
So no, interesting. So often until you start looking, you don't know what else is out there, do you? And how things have moved on. Excellent. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there because we have overrun a bit, but I think it's been really useful. It's been fantastic having you on, Sean. I think there's been some really useful advice there, which I hope everyone has got some useful stuff. I'm just double checking there aren't any last minute questions. No, okay. I'll say if you're watching this on the replay, or if you have any questions come up afterwards, pop them in the comments and we will come back, and I'll put all the details in there about how to get in touch with Sean if you want to find out more about MVC or any other aspect of all the excitement of conveyancing. And and I'll put the details in the predictable pipeline community for the offer that is there for you guys as well. So thank you again, Sean. Really great chatting with you, and speak to you again soon.
Thank you, really appreciate it, and stay well, everyone.
Okay, cheers everyone, bye now.